Okay, and I'm live. I think I'm live. The heck? I didn't even hit the live button yet. Crazy. Hold on a second. Bear with me 1 second. I cannot. Okay. Oh, it's because it's set to private. Good grief. What am I doing? Why is this on private? Okay. Now it's public. Dumbass. I'm a dumbass sometimes. Okay. All right. All right, did I tweet this out? Let's see if I tweeted this out or not. Did I get that right? Yes, I did. Okay, so the tweet's out. Let me double check a couple things. Why is this not? You know what's fine. Lonely Snow, what is up? What is up, Lonely Snow? How's it going? I'm discombobulated right now. I apologize. I'm trying to get this impromptu stream going because there's a discussion I think that needs to be had, and there's more to do with the questions at hand, and really more. Oh, first time here? Well, yeah, welcome. Glad to have you. The question I have here is less to do with, well, it's got partially something to do with the question that I asked. And the other part of it is about the disconnect and discourse on the internet, because it's just like I kind of saw it playing out. What's up, Blade X? I kind of saw it playing out the way it did, and I'm just like the answer to one question does not mean you have the answer to the other question. And if you're not on Twitter, then you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But the funny thing is that this whole conversation is really like it's an offshoot of a conversation that everyone's having right now in regards to Xbox, in regards to Xbox potentially putting their games everywhere. And even though I do not believe that every single Xbox game would be no longer exclusive, I do think that any Xbox games that they said will remain exclusive, not going exclusive, is basically the same level of damage. But that's not really the purpose of this. The purpose of this, and I'm going to show, I'm not even in Discord. Good grief. What am I doing? There we go. The issue here, the question that I had is that, like, there are people who believe that if Microsoft does what has been rumored to be doing, which is put Starfield on PlayStation, put Hi-Fi Rush on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, put a Gears of War Marcus Phoenix collection, which would be like a remaster or remake of the Gears of War trilogy that has not even been officially announced and isn't even out yet, put that on PlayStation. There's been so much talk. Forza Horizon 5 has been rumored. A hugely popular arcade racer that is synonymous with Xbox. put that on PlayStation 2. So the two biggest racers in the world is Gran Turismo and Forza. You want PlayStation to have both of those? Interesting. So it's just like these kind of thoughts are coming up and questions that are being asked. And so I'm on my way, dropping my son off at school. I'm in the kiss and ride line, just waiting to drop him off. I look on my phone, I pull up YouTube, and I see a poll on Spawn Wave's channel. And so if you are into gaming, you know who the Spawn Wave, you know who Spawn Wave is. It's the YouTube channel. It's a massive YouTube channel. Shout out to them. They do a great job. And yes, the channel is primarily, I see, probably say like primarily Nintendo focused. He does a lot of coverage on Nintendo. But hey, the people who are into Nintendo are into Nintendo for a reason, and their reasons are valid. The reasons why there is 130 million sold Nintendo Switches out there, and how it's going to close in on the most sold ever console, which is the PlayStation 2 from decades ago, and it's about to surpass it. That needs to be, these thoughts and feelings are valid. What am I talking about? Let me just pull it up then. Where is there? Boom. So look, this is the poll. And let me blow this up a little more so that we're all seeing it. So I'll put this poll up. And it's not my poll because I don't have a platform this big. But I put this up because I wanted people to see what, is what I would think is a very strong sample size of data. And I even said it's a small sample size in the grand scheme of things. There are millions upon millions of console gamers out there, and in the hundreds of millions. And 47,000 people doesn't crack the surface. But typically when polls are not done where they poll literally every single person. Like, that never happens. That's not how polls work. They poll enough people to get an idea of things. And sure, sometimes, and we see it in politics, sometimes polls can be misleading. But usually when polls are misleading, we also see data that shows the opposite. Real quick, let me shout out some people who are here. Sonny Slim in the house. What's up, man? Eric the Red. I gotta look at like a different screen. I gotta look at like my phone because OBS is just cracked out right now. I don't see my chat through OBS, so I'm like literally, like, I don't know, maybe if I refresh this, can I refresh that? Nope. Not gonna work. Fine, whatever. But yeah, my bad if you guys have been talking and I haven't really been seeing it because it's a little different. I gotta look off screen. Eric the Red, what's up, man? Lonely Snowsis, I mean, this happens when people don't buy games and solely rely on Game Pass. Hey, that might be the reason there. You have a point. Brian East, what's up, man? He says you can sort of make a case of exclusivity if all Xbox's games stayed on Xbox Store for PC. On Steam, though, that is clearly third party. They've put their games on Steam, yet they still doesn't seem to be enough. And also, different segment of the market. We're talking about the console market here. PC has its exclusives, but PC as a platform overall, those exclusives to PC and that don't go to mobile and don't go to consoles are games like League of Legends, World of Warcraft, Valorant, games that they're on PC for a reason. Console gamers don't typically engage in those kind of games. Not really the point I'm trying to make, but I see your point there. Yobi in the house, what's up, man? Shout out to legendary Yobi, and shout out to Lady Foxfire. Lady Foxfire. How you been? I've been good. So I see, to go back to my story, I'm in the kissing ride, about to drop my son off at school, and I see this poll. And here's the poll. The poll says, what is the primary reason you buy a specific video game console? And I know why SpawnWave made this poll question, due to all the hubbub about Xbox, what's going on with Xbox, and the fact that there is a business, quote unquote, business event, not an Xbox event, a business event that's going to be done live most likely next week. And Phil Spencer specifically said that it will address some of these rumors that we have going around. So to catch everyone up on that, that's why this question was made. And it says, what is the primary reason you buy a specific video game console? Is it ease of use, form factor, exclusive games, the ecosystem / digital library / services, where my friends are playing, or controller layout? Now, if you look here, we have 47,000 people who have voted on this poll. SpawnWave is a pretty big channel. 47,000 people, I think, is a significant number of people. And sure, I know there are some people that are like, oh, well, that's primarily a Nintendo channel. Again, where's your data to show that if it was a different channel that you wouldn't get a similar result? Maybe it wouldn't be 70% exclusive games. Maybe it'd be 55. Maybe it'd be 60. Maybe it'd be something else. But I am open to seeing different data. And that's all I ask. And this is what I asked in my question. 70% of 47,000 people say the primary reason they choose a video game console is exclusive games. I'm just quoting what this is seeing. And before I went live, I also double checked SpawnWave's channel. It's only gone up another 1,000 people, and 70% is still the highest number. Like, it hasn't gone down one percentage. So it's remained consistent. More than likely, when that poll is finished, exclusive games will still be the winner. Now, small sample size in the grand scheme of things, sure. I throw that out there because I know that's what people are going to say. Oh, the sample size is too small. I don't care about that specifically. I don't care if it's not done scientifically, because I don't like, my day job is not data analysis. But all I'm saying, and I'm open to saying, okay, maybe it's not exclusive games. If someone can just show me data that proves the opposite. If there is a poll out there with anywhere near the number of people voting that says the opposite, all right, you got it. Okay. I will at least agree that it can be different per platform. But this is what I get for the most part. I've had to make this next tweet to follow up, because I'm not just going to keep responding the same response to a bunch of people. And shout out to Bless Red. I'm not coming after him for having this response, but a lot of people had the same exact response, and I felt like my reply to Bless Red fully explains my position in why using most played games or most sold games on a platform does not answer the question of why somebody bought the platform in the first place. And so I said, I'm just going to post this here as my response to everyone who still isn't providing any data that shows the opposite, but thinks most sold games answers a completely separate question. It does not. And I'll just go to where I got to that point. So Bless Red said, look at the masses of people that buy a PlayStation 5 but only play a few games like Call of Duty. Call of Duty is the biggest game on PlayStation like every year. If most people bought consoles for exclusive games, God of War Ragnarok and other Sony games would be at 30+ million sold by now. Now, this argument This logic, this is something that a lot of people. What's up, Flood? How's it going, man? He said, "What up, Nvidia? What's up, AMD? What's up, AMD? Man, I bet you wearing red right now too." This is an argument that a lot of people have. A lot of people say this often when it comes to why people buy games, and I'm not saying it's necessarily definitely wrong, but I'm saying that like. That's not really answering the question, and there's no data that actually shows that the answer for that question is the answer for this question. My response to him was, and if those people were polled, meaning the people who bought Call of Duty, they would say they bought a PlayStation over an Xbox to play the exact same game that's on Xbox? Like, that doesn't make sense. This is why I asked for data that shows the opposite, not data of what games sell well. Those two different things. Plenty of people who are in that 70% could also own Call of Duty 2. It's like you don't know that because it's a different question. And then I said, and this is where I get to what I quote to you so that people could, like look at that, and I'm not going to reply over and over again to everyone the same answer. Here's a better example. I bought a PlayStation 4 in 2015 to play Until Dawn. Now, I saw, to give some context to this, back then in 2015, I only had an Xbox One. I did not own a PlayStation 4. At E3, after E3, I saw, and I was a big fan of Telltale games, I saw this game Until Dawn that had far better visuals than Telltale has ever done. And I like horror movies, and this looked like a campy horror movie in the game. I said, you know what, I want to play that. And when I found out it was only on PlayStation 4, I had to ask myself that question. Well, I mean, it's not on the platform that you have now. What you gonna do? How much do you want to play that game? And that's a question that like a lot of people have to ask themselves. But I said, I went and bought that game. I bought the PlayStation 4 a month before Until Dawn came out, and I got Until Dawn. Played it, loved it. I played it I may have played that game once a year, and I got family that watches me play it because we just enjoy it like that, But that said, the game Until Dawn isn't the game I played the most on that platform. And they only sold 5 million copies or something like that. Does the fact I played other games more change that I bought the console for an exclusive? No. The reason I bought that console was for that one small game with decent sales. Now that I'm in the ecosystem, now it's easier to get me to play other games that are popular that I might like that are also in the ecosystem. And sure, Call of Duty's on Xbox, but it's sure if Fortnite on all platforms, but if you already have bought a platform for a game that you wanted to play, you're not going to then buy another platform to play a multi-plat game. It's not necessary. That's all I'm saying here. And so, let's look at this a little. Shout out Delon here. He says, people love to use the idea that because the most popular games are multi-platform, that somehow exclusives don't matter, ignoring the fact that most exclusives are one and done experiences, and after that, people may spend more money in the ecosystem. That is exactly the method. That's exactly the strategy that is deployed here. It's the strategy that Xbox has been deploying for decades with their platforms. It is the strategy that Nintendo swears by. It is the strategy that Sony has, so much so that they will money hat third-party games and make them exclusive when they don't have the first-party content at that time to do so. Why? Because if you would do that on a diverse enough field, you will bring in other people who like all kinds of games. And then now that they're there, they can go ahead and play Fortnite just like everybody else, but on your platform. And now you're getting 30% of the revenue off of all these other games because you had a nice carrot to bring these people in. Arama says, foam up then SloMo. I don't need to. I'm not interested in that game. But they already got me in the ecosystem, Arodimus, because I bought my PlayStation 5 to play Spider-Man. So I'm already in the ecosystem. They don't need me to play Foam Stars. That's for those Splatoon heads on Nintendo. You see, it's not all one audience. Exclusives games don't need to outsell Call of Duty to be effective. They just need to bring in new gamers who aren't on the platform. And also provide content that tells the people who are on the platform, hey, this is why you bought me. This is why you're still here. Brian, he says, hold on, maybe. Sonny Slim says, I don't know why it's a hard concept for people, especially the first year of a console. It's the hardcore fans buying them, and those people influence their friends. Exclusives 100% sell consoles. Exactly. You know, here's a relevant, and I saw someone in the comments. I'm gonna bring them up. I'm gonna show them where they basically argue my point for me. And they were saying that there was like, oh, like, so you'll have a friend group of gamers, and then one of them may buy a PlayStation for an exclusive game, and the rest of them will just buy the PlayStation because their friend got it. I think that's the kind of outdated process. Because if they play together, more than likely, they're playing multiplayer games. And in 2024, nobody is dropping multiplayer games that don't have some form of crossplay. So that's not even important anymore. I play with friends that are on PlayStation, and I play with friends that are on Xbox, and I'm on PC. The other night, I'm playing with Forte. Forte, you know, shout out to Forte. I know Forte got a free copy of like the highest edition of Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3. It's on PlayStation. So what's Forte doing? He playing on PlayStation. I'm playing on PC. We playing the same game together. The idea that you need to do that is unnecessary. Like I back in the day, me and my friends used to get together and be like, so what we doing? You know, every new generation. Are we staying here? We going there? You don't need to do that now. Because if you're playing a multiplayer game, it's everywhere. No one's dropping a multiplayer game that's not crossplay. That's basically senpai. What do they call it? I said senpai. That's not it. What is the Japanese term again for falling on your sword and just killing yourself? Because that's exactly what you're doing, unaliving yourself. Brian said, Brian says, I mean, I agree with you, SloMo, but at the most fundamental level, if any platform offers you something you can't get anywhere else, there's inherent value in that. Exactly. And that's something that, like, you have to, that is the reason why people are fearful of what Xbox may be doing, because people, my fear with Xbox and with Microsoft is the idea, and I think this is like things that smart people do, but it's kind of dumb. And what they do is they think that what works in other markets will work in this market. Well, we were successful and made billions of dollars doing this in this market. It will also be successful in this other market. And it's a startling lack of understanding of what those markets are. This is what Google does. Google jumps into all kinds of markets. They don't understand what they're doing. They try to do it the Google way. They take an L and they drop it. Google does that all the time. Shout out to Luca. Shout out to Gregor in the house. Luca says, anecdotal, but my coworker just said that he would buy a console because that's where his friends are at. he didn't know about crossplay. Well, yeah, you know, and that's probably why some people still will have that philosophy in 2024. Is they don't understand that they could buy anything and play Fortnite with their buddy, or NBA 2K, or Madden, or whatever the most popular game is right now, Apex Legends. You know, the finals is super popular right now. You can play that way, anything, right? But the catalyst to that whole point was that, like, someone had an example of one person in the friend group buys a platform for an exclusive, and then that person may end up being the most hardcore gamer of those friends. The rest of them just buy the platform because he got it. But what was the catalyst? What was the root of that all? It was the exclusive game. But anywho, Jason says you must be stomping Forza if you're on PC. No, we're not playing against each other. We're in the squad together. We're playing multiplayer against other people. So we're not in Call of Duty, that is. So check this. This is what I'm talking about. What people don't even. I asked for. This is what I asked for. Where is the data that shows the opposite? I provided data of why that you know presents an argument I think is valid. Where's the data that shows the opposite? This is the reply I get. A Twitter poll. Laughable. You wanna know what's laughable? Stagger, Rilla. I think you staggered your brain cells for a moment. You know what's laughable? What's laughable is that this is not a Twitter poll. It's not a Twitter poll. It was on YouTube. It's on YouTube. So what are you talking about? And you didn't answer the question. Lucas says, "What was the evidence?" This is I would not say strictly evidence, but you ask people why they buy a game console. 70% of 47K say exclusive games is the reason why they do so. What's up, Enrique? And so I said, all right, well, look, 70% of 47,000 people say the primary reason they chose a video game console is exclusive games. Small sample size in the grand scheme of things, sure, but where's the data that shows the opposite? I'd love to see it. And instead of providing that, I get this nonsense. Shout out to Leviathan and Gamers. It definitely differs from platform to platform. You would find that 120 million Switches are sold where the exclusives were an influence in their purchasing decision. 50 million PS4s and 15 million Xbox Ones. Does that make their PC and other platform strategies make sense for each? Definitely more PS4s and Xbox Ones that were sold than that. But again, this doesn't provide like any. If Leviathan's point is that the reason why someone bought a Switch, primarily bought a Switch, is different than the reason why people buy a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One, I'm not saying he's wrong, but I am saying where's the information at? Like how do you show that? You know, like where are you getting this conclusion from? Jerk Chicken says, did anyone actually answer your question and show you data? Of course not. For Bregas, I think I said that right. Just search for the most played games every year. Hardly any exclusives make a top 5 list. Doesn't answer the question. I didn't ask what's the most played games every year. That doesn't answer the question of why someone chose a specific console, especially when the most played games every year are on every platform. The fact those games are everywhere literally removes the reason why one is chosen over another. Spawnwave has 95% Sony fans. He gives me a statistic, data that's inaccurate, that he just made up. and that channel is primarily Nintendo channel. That doesn't mean their opinions don't matter. It's just like, so what? Why even say this? This is pointless. Primus says they won't have it. Shout out to Primus. The board game Renegade says the size of the sample size isn't the issue with the poll. The issue is that the people taking the poll are the quote unquote hardcore that would follow Spawnwave. Most gamers are casuals that don't even know what exclusives or multiplats even are. Those terms, absolutely. Those most casuals probably have no idea what those terms really mean. But my question back to him is, we can't assume why casuals bought a console. Just because they may not know what these terms mean doesn't mean they didn't buy, like a casual didn't buy a PlayStation 4 when they saw that Spider-Man 2018 was on it. We don't know, like, where's your data that shows that? Is there data out there that determines why the majority of casual gamers chose one console over another? And he says, no, you're right, I accept that, but then you'll have to accept that you can't assume that everyone that voted even owned the console. I mean, like, now we're getting into the point where are people just voting for the sake of making a point, or are they just voting, are they lying? Which is like any poll, that's the weakness to any poll, because any poll is taking into account that the people are being honest, or that the people are the relevant people in the discussion, right? Let me go back to this. Let me find, where was I? I hate how if I go back, it doesn't take me back to where I was. Sam Wallace says, I know that's my main reason. Firestarter says they're not on Twitter taking polls. I'm like, neither was this poll on Twitter, so thanks. He says that was a poll with inherent bias, as the 47,000 are from a population in a bubble. If it was 47,000 people of the 8+ billion called randomly from randomly, I guess he meant cold, I don't know, randomly from all over the planet, and I said, okay, prove it with a poll from a more diverse collection of people. And then I'm being told it's not really feasible to do a worldwide public survey. I didn't ask for a worldwide public survey of every single human being on the planet. This guy said the 47,000 people are too biased. The data should be thrown out because of their opinions. Let's think about that for a second, right? Crap, look, I don't have, hold on, let me see if I can, you just put up, what is this? This is some data on the 8th gen. Okay, I can pull this from here. Ooh, why do people choose to buy a PlayStation 4, an Xbox One, or a Wii U? Okay, give me a second. Okay, I'm going to, let me switch this. Switch the browser to that. Okay, let me make it bigger so people can see what we're doing. Okay, so this is from Polygon in 2015. It's about 9 years ago. Why do people choose to buy a PlayStation 4, an Xbox One, or a Wii U? Owners of different consoles buy them for very different reasons, according to new research. Okay, a new study from Nielsen asked console owners for the top reasons why they chose to buy a particular new machine. The answers that came back show a stark diversity for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Wii U. Interesting. So top factors driving 8th gen console purchase by platform. Sony PlayStation 4, number one is better resolution. Interesting. Blu-ray player, game library, faster processing power, what family wants. So I guess game library, I guess you could call that exclusives, because every platform has a game library. Microsoft Xbox One says brand. What? So just because it's an Xbox? Is that what brand means? Okay. Innovative features, faster processing power, exclusive games content, fun factor. And the Nintendo Wii U, which is fun factor, better for kids, price value, backwards compatibility, exclusive games content. Yeah, interesting. I like this. For PS4 owners, the most important thing is better resolution, followed by a Blu-ray player, the game library, and family preference. Blu-ray player? The Xbox One had a Blu-ray player, right? Irrelevant says basically everything the companies was marketing. True, on the PlayStation 4, better resolution, because remember the whole 1080p versus 900p argument? Sony, you know, they were all on Blu-rays at the time, so absolutely faster processing power. It was well known that the PlayStation 4 was more powerful than the Xbox One. What family wants, that's interesting. But here we said owners of both systems said they make the purchase due to faster processing power of both systems. This was that? Yep, that was both. Okay. Wii U owners were focused on fun factor, children value, and older games. Funny about older games, considering Nintendo now doesn't really care for backwards compatibility. Also interesting is the breakdown of prior console use among current generation users. 86% of Wii U owners owned a Wii. 43% of Xbox One owners owned a PS3. While 59% of PlayStation 4 owners owned an Xbox 360. Very interesting. Thank you, Luca. I like. See, this is what I asked for: data. And let's tackle the. I think that even though this is about 9 years ago and trends can change, this is still somewhat relevant. This part right here is very somewhat relevant to why people buy games. Now, like back then, and this was 2015, right? Back in 2015, people still primarily play games physical over digital. People, then there was like no chance of like cross-play, being able to play with other players in multiplayer games cross-platform. And I think even though both PlayStation and Xbox One were both using AMD technology, there were enough differences between the platforms to really say, yeah, this one has features that this other one doesn't have. And therefore, yeah, like I can see myself buying that over this. Whereas the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S they're both using the exact same architecture, you know? Yobi says, honestly, they can remove the Blu-ray players from the consoles going forward. It's not the same compared to, this is, and that's what I was getting to, Yobi, about like the time difference, because it's like no one cares about Blu-ray players now. Like this is, it's complete. That's a feature that, like, if someone said, you look at things today and you're like, okay, what I mean is if someone went back to this poll then and looked at this and said, Blu-ray players ain't gonna be the future, bro. Like that would be like absolutely 1000% true. But when it comes to some of the arguments that are out there about Xbox's approach for the future, and Xbox choosing to go away from, choosing to go away from what's the word I'm looking for? Exclusive games. Thank you. Exclusive games. you have to come to like some kind of theory that exclusive games like that Nintendo and PlayStation are going to follow suit, because look, this becomes less of a problem if Nintendo is going to put the next Mario game on Xbox and PlayStation and PC. This becomes less of a problem if PlayStation is going to put the next God of War installment on Xbox. I mean, they're going to put it on PC, but they're not going to put it within the same segment of the market on their direct competitors. And so if you're the only one doing this, you're literally throwing away a major reason why people choose to buy video game consoles in the year 2024. Again, thank you, Luca, who I assume is super bored at work right now. But thank you for actually doing something that nobody on Twitter decided to do. They just decided to just yell at me and make stuff up and pull it out of the crack of their butt. Dark Elation says it's not sample size, it's recency bias. Ask the question any other time and gamers overwhelmingly choose is where my friends play. Well, we looked at data from 2015 that didn't say overwhelmingly is where my friends play. They had a variety of different reasons. And I actually saw exclusive games there more than where my friends play. Additionally, if this is the case, which he didn't provide any evidence of this, if this is the case, then we should be able to find a poll of this exact same question from any other time that's not like in the past month and find different results to a degree where he could say this, right? Audible says, I don't know what they are doing. I don't know what okay. I don't know what they are going to do holiday season if this stuff is true and implemented beforehand. Audible, I guess we could get into a quick side tangent about Xbox and their ability to market and message things correctly. I think that's been a weakness for them. And when you have a we gotta keep it a buck. They're a successful company. Like, even though Xbox, the brand itself in the console market is struggling, the company itself, no one can knock the hustle. They know how to make money. They know how to make money in multiple markets, and they're good at it. And all that said, that doesn't mean that you're perfect at those things. And when you have various different departments and people who are experts in certain areas, and then your company spends $70 billion $70 billion on another company, and that money they spent is by far the most they've ever spent at one time on a specific company, and it's in a market that at the time wasn't even in the top 3 of the businesses that you do. You're gonna have people that who within the company, they're gonna be like, yo, some of this gotta change because y'all not doing this right. And so there's gonna be a tug of war. There's gonna be a pulling back and forth. But the problem with that is that if you don't understand this industry and you don't understand that market, you can't just say, like, business isn't a one size fits all kind of thing. You got to do your research. You got to understand what you're doing, and you got to understand what works in this market. Google failed not because cloud wasn't ready yet, partially, but not because, but Stadia, apparently, for everyone who tried it, said that it latency was pretty low, the performance was fine. Google failed because they didn't have no exclusive games. All the games that Google Stadia provided were games you could already play on platforms you already owned. Natively installed on SSD, on storage devices, on your PC and consoles. And it doesn't matter how good your latency was, Google, with Stadia, you ain't better than native. It was a guaranteed fail. But Google still spent billions of dollars, acquired studios, hired people, and then laid them off once they realized they had wasted their own time. Rahman says, well, SloMo, you have to see how the live service push Sony goes this generation. They could force their hand in putting their games everywhere. I don't think Sony is ever going to intentionally put games on Xbox. The games that they put on Xbox, they don't publish MLB The Show on Xbox. That's published by MLB. Look it up. Now, Sony Santa Monica, I think that's Sony San Diego makes the game, but to put it on Xbox was out of their control. They could not make the game and lose the license altogether, or they could do what MLB wanted and still make money and not have to lay off an entire studio over there at Sony San Diego. So they made the common sense decision to go ahead and put that on Xbox. Destiny's games were already on Xbox before they acquired them. The PR disaster it would be for them to remove Destiny off or stop supporting Destiny on Xbox because they acquired them is not worth it. It's nowhere near worth it for them to do that. Why is Marathon going to be on Xbox? Because that was the terms of the negotiations that Bungie made. But look what's going on with Bungie. We find out additional information. We find out that their whole entire board of directors could get wiped out and be replaced solely by Sony if they don't meet certain revenue guidelines, if they don't meet certain financial measures. And for what we found out so far, all those massive cuts they made, because they were 40, somewhere in the 40% off from their revenue target goals. More than likely, and most people see the writing on the wall as it is, Bungie will fail and Sony will own it proper. Then we'll see if Sony will still be down for putting their games on Xbox. Gregor says all Xbox's marketing is done internally to sell themselves to Microsoft to justify their existence. Stadia was supposed to get exclusively Baldur's Gate 3. Right. Yeah, but see, and you see, he bet Google suits are crying over that. Yeah, and Baldur's Gate. Think about how that game turned out. They would have had the game of the year if they just would have stuck it out. They would have had the game of the year. Araman says Destruction All-Stars failed because of player support. One, I think Destruction All-Stars failed because it's not a good game. The people who played it wasn't me, but the people who played it said it wasn't good. I trust what they say. They say it wasn't good. But also, because it wasn't good, you didn't have the player support. And if player support was the sole reason, this is why they're Helldivers 2, which is getting a lot of good publicity. It's not quite out yet, but its pre-orders are #1 on Steam and #1 on PSN, on PlayStation. This is why they put Helldivers 2 on Steam, so that they can take care of that player support issue. Let me look at some more of these. Brutus says, I've always been on Xbox. My reasoning for choosing a specific console is where my friends are playing. The exclusives game is kind of down the list for him. Like I love Halo and Gears as a franchise, but they are both very different now compared to what they used to be. Okay, I probably should ask Brutus. Let me ask him this question. Let me ask you this. Why did you buy your first Xbox? Since you've always been there. Let's see what he says. because I think that is, very likely that he bought his first Xbox. He says he loved Halo. I love Halo too. I bought my first, and maybe this is just me, and I am just one person, but the reason why I've always bought platforms is due to exclusive games. To go all the way back, let me go way back, okay? When I had the choice to buy games myself and systems myself, I bought the very first PlayStation because Final Fantasy VII was no longer going to be on Nintendo and it was going exclusively to PlayStation. I bought a PlayStation for that one game. I bought the Nintendo 64, despite all the bad publicity it had, despite the fact they were still going with cartridge and everybody was like, what are you doing? It's not the wave no more. Despite all of that, I bought a Nintendo 64 for WrestleMania 64. That and what was the other one? No Way Out. Two of the best wrestling games ever created. That's why I bought a Nintendo 64. That's not the main reason why I played on. That's not the game I played the most on Nintendo 64. To go back to this argument people keep using, oh, with the most played games, what sells the most. I played Super Smash Bros. On my Nintendo 64 more than anything else. But that's not why I bought it for. Xbox One. Now, to say that Halo Combat Evolved is likely the game, actually is very certain, is the game I spent the most time playing. But that's the reason why I bought an Xbox. I bought it for Halo Combat Evolved. That's how the game works. Xbox 360, Gears of War. But Gears of War isn't the most played game that I played on Xbox 360. I brought up PlayStation 4. I have a Nintendo Switch, and I can't stand Nintendo now. But why did I buy a Nintendo Switch? Only place I can play Fire Emblem. I gotta play Fire Emblem. I got a PS5 at launch so I could play Miles Morales. Luca, I don't know if Luca's still in the chat. Luca bought a PlayStation 5 so she could play Demon Souls Remake. Yobi, WWF No Mercy. That's it. That was it. I still have that game somewhere. I don't have the Nintendo 64, but I got the games. My mom hit me and was like, hey, I found this bag of games. You want these? She took a picture of them, and my heart almost dropped. It was a bunch of hold on. I'm about to go grab the bag. I got the bag over here in my office somewhere. Hold on. Okay, scratch that. My office is a train wreck. I can't find it. I can't find it. But, okay, that bag had Smash Bros. In it, WrestleMania 64, No Mercy, and there's another. Oh, it has some PlayStation games in there too. It had the PlayStation version of Chrono Trigger, and the PlayStation and Final Fantasy VII in there. And I think Final Fantasy Tactics was in there too. All games exclusive to the platforms that they came out on. Just saying. Let's see. Eric says, this needs to be more nuanced. This survey probably answers as to why people buy a PS5, but I'm not sure what would be the same for Xbox. Sure, Eric, you could be skeptical, but again, where's your data? Cooper. Copper. I can't read today. All right, so look, forgive me. Yeah, exclusive games never appear in the most played or sell to that high or a percentage to the install base. Suspect your results are emotional filled. I think your response, Copper Cooper, is emotional filled, because most played games does not mean this is why I bought the platform. It just doesn't. Those are two different questions. Exclusives are the most important reason for me to buy a console. I bought a Vita for that Uncharted game, Xbox One X for Quantum Break, a One X for Quantum Break. Quantum Break was old by the time the One X came out. But all right, man, maybe you was too young when Quantum Break came out, and then you saw it later on. I don't know. And a Switch for Mario Odyssey. Hey, makes sense. For Nintendo, it's definitely the exclusives and the sales backs that up. Not a sales thing, but sure. As for PlayStation, it's third party. Those COD sales and GTA 5 sales are ridiculously high in their ecosystem. Although titles like Spider-Man definitely move consoles as well. And so for Corey, I would say people bought those PlayStations for Spider-Man, and then after they got done playing a 25 to 30 hour experience in Spider-Man, they went on to spend hundreds of hours in Call of Duty and GTA 5. Because Call of Duty and GTA 5 is on Xbox and PC. And it's actually best on PC. and the majority of, based on the data from Activision, the majority of the people who play Call of Duty, they play on PC more than they play on PlayStation and Xbox combined. Flood says Quantum Break was like 2015, 2016. I don't think it was old. When did the Xbox One X come out? Can somebody find that for me? Because I feel like it was 2018. Because if Quantum Break was 2015 and the Xbox One X was 2018, that's a 3-year difference. I think I consider that an old game at that point. Aramis says Xbox 2016. It was 2 years. So Quantum Break came out in 2016. 2 years. I can dig it. You know, it may not have been his main reason for buying an Xbox One X, but it helped, you know, and that's because, like, shout out to Sycamore. I was talking to Sycamore about this, and Sycamore was like, I don't buy my platforms for exclusive games. I buy them for where my friends are. And I just told Sycamore, I was like, all right, it sounds like you're a part of the 7% right here where my friends are playing. Like, it anecdotally doesn't work when it comes to, like, when you're polling a bunch of people and you're asking a bunch of people, because of course this isn't saying 100% is exclusive games. You know, even 2% choose their platform for controller layout, which I think that's crazy. I think you just get used to. I think everybody has a solid controller. Even the Nintendo Switch has the Switch Pro, which is a very, very good controller. Like, you can get a controller to actually, you know, do that. I got a couple more minutes before I gotta go pick these kids up, so I guess let me look at a few more before I wind this down. DDR4 Gaming says, I assume the tens of millions of console gamers that don't take part in online discourse. Yeah, a throwaway comment that provides nothing and just provides doubt in the results without actually proving or providing anything. Aramis says, no, the One S is 2016, the One X is 2017. Okay, so it was 2 years. Okay. It says, no, Rustola, we really shook the heavens this time. Okay, all right. Not just the sample size, it's the bias. Who's responding to this poll? A select group of people who tend to be more hardcore brand loyalists, etc. Not your casual gamer. The people freaking out over these rumors. All 47,000 people who voted on this are all freaking out on these rumors. People who make Xbox or PlayStation their identity. Okay. So I asked for data. Thanks. I'm not going to unmute that because I think I know who that is. And I don't want y'all to be like, oh, you got him muted. So we just will keep it moving. Randy 28CR says people buy consoles to play Call of Duty, Fortnite, and FIFA with zero evidence to provide for that. Okay. They make the decision over the other two for two reasons. One, where my friends are, no data. Popularity, where one lives, no data. Exclusives, one might play, in capital letters. Again, no data. If exclusives were the most important, they would sell at least like half of the user base. Why? Because what you're what this question here fails to acknowledge is that you can have someone who buys a system for one game. It could be Knack on PlayStation. It could be Hi-Fi Rush on Xbox that didn't sell great, but you could get people in if you have a bunch of games that are all exclusive and all very different, and get people and provide people a large variety of games that they want to play. Just because all of those games don't sell as much as Call of Duty and FIFA, not Fortnite, because Fortnite's free to play, doesn't mean that everyone bought that system for Call of Duty and FIFA. Because once again, all three of the games that he listed here are on multiple consoles. And if anything, if we want to break it down, we really want to get nuance with it. If we really want to get into the weeds with it, he shouldn't even list the Call of Duty. Because the way Call of Duty was marketed and in the contract that Sony had with Activision before this acquisition, that's in a way, you got exclusive content. Same thing with Destiny. When Destiny was under Activision, you got exclusive content that your competition does not have. That can be a reason for somebody to say, I'll be over here. I'm gonna play my games over here. Forte, I play Call of Duty with Forte, and he annoys the hell out of me with how he talks about how he got all these boosters for his battle pass, for his weapons, for his level. The man has barely played the game as much as myself. I'm grinding like crazy here and just barely completing the battle pass before he did. I'm grinding like crazy. I got double the player level on Call of Duty, but just completed the battle pass before him. Why does he have it like that? Because he got it on PlayStation. They get double XP weekends before everyone else does. They were getting the beta first. PlayStation players in Call of Duty get 12 spots or slots to save a loadout with. Everyone else gets 10. If you're really big into Call of Duty, which platform are you going to get? If that's the game you play primarily, which platform are you going to get it on? I mean, granted, it's a console market. And in the console market, it far outsells the Xbox. But that's neither here nor there. Gregor Von Doom says that one journalist that played the Switch because the Joy-Con was the only controller that fit in his... See, it's exclusive. That was exclusive, man. JD Gamer, do you believe that people treat consoles like people treat sports? Yes, I do think people treat consoles the way people treat sports. And I'll say this as well. I don't like how the defense of indefensible actions and behaviors by console warriors in the video game community is defended by throwing up a straw man argument or throwing up the shield of, well, they do that in sports too. That does not justify your behavior or the behavior of the people that you're defending by saying, oh, they do bad stuff over here too. Okay, so they're bad too. But back to the point, the behavior of some people in the gaming community is ridiculous, reprehensible, and they should be exiled out of the community. But instead, some of them get platforms. Some of them get massive followings. And they do some heinous nonsense. Just because in sports, we see people get into fights in stadiums, people get killed. Just because in some countries, if a guy misses a goal, he ends up dead in a gutter 2 days later, doesn't mean that everybody in sports is willing to kill the goalie for missing blocking a goal. Nor does it mean that the people who follow sports also are fine with that. Now, on the flip side of that, you can't be like, you console warriors make me sick. Y'all are disgusting. Get a life. I can't believe you're 40 plus years old acting like this. And then I look at your timeline and you're threatening the kicker of your favorite football team for missing the game-winning kick. Or you're calling the head coach of your team a dim-witted, just like you're doing the same stuff. So just maybe not be a hypocrite, you know? Aramis is interesting. This Xbox demo day calls Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft Game Pass, or they drop an Xbox from the Game Pass name. Aramis, they been dropped Xbox from the Game Pass name. When Xbox started to blow on PC is when they dropped the Xbox Game Pass name. It's just been Game Pass for years now. When you look at Game Pass on PC, they call it PC Game Pass. They actually even have two separate Twitter accounts for both. There's an Xbox Game Pass account and there's a PC Game Pass account. Because they get different games a lot of times. What's up, True Bleed? Enrique says, great point, SloMo, on the straw man argument people are using to excuse console warring. Exactly. It's just like, don't try to pull that, well, they do it too nonsense. My kids do that. Why get after my son for his bad behavior in school? And he'll be like, well, the other kids in my class, I don't care about them. I don't parent them. I don't raise them. Your behavior is what I care about. And I'm not raising a follower. So stop following them dumb kids in your class. Why do I have to speak to grown adults? So y'all want to bring up ages, 40 plus years old and still using arguments that a 13, 14-year-old would have. You should know better. Oh, Enrique PC great at Xbox. So look, that's all I wanted to really get into. I wish I could spend more time on this. And kind of even if it if I had the chance to bring in bring people in and discuss it, because I feel like last time with SloMo, I usually just talk about some stuff, and I need to get back to playing games, because the purpose, the way I designed this to be would be, it's lunchtime, you're on your lunch break, you listen to me ramble for a while, and then I play a game, because that's what I do. I play games. I'm not like some of these other guys out here that talk about games all the time, but you ask them in detail of anything any kind of detail about the games that they swear up and down they care about, and they couldn't tell you what the main menu looked like because they ain't boot that ish up. That ain't me. So I play games out here, and I had Grand Blue Fantasy Relink as the game listed on the video, because if I had enough time to get into it, that's probably likely what I was going to be playing. Unfortunately, I don't have time, and I need to probably figure out. Maybe I gotta get to doing a scheduled day for lunchtime with SloMo, like scheduled days, because I don't want to just do it once a week. Maybe if I do scheduled days where I'm always like, people just know that I'm gonna go live at a certain time at this particular day and time, then I can kind of block off enough time with work and whatnot where I can actually go live and have enough time to play games, because I think it's probably been like 3 episodes in a row where I haven't played a game, and that's not how I want this to go. This isn't just me just talking, like, and I say that knowing that the majority of the time when I do lunchtime with SloMo, I get more people who are here to listen to me talk than people who watch the game afterwards, which is also, I guess, if Luke is still around to hear this, kind of like how the community is, like people don't care about games, and I don't think my gameplay is that bad where, people are like, oh my gosh, SloMo's playing a game now. Oh, he's terrible. I can't watch this. My eyes are bleeding. I don't think my voice is that sexy where y'all here for that, but not for gaming. But I think a lot of people just want to hear an opinion, and then, or maybe their lunch break ends and they gotta get back to work. I don't know. But regardless, that like a third of the people still stick around for the gaming side of things, I still want to do that, because that's the purpose of everything. This is a gaming channel. I make sure that I'm at least showing some gameplay of me playing the game, or I'm actually playing the game. So yeah. We got saying here before I give Enrique says SloMo, console warriors behavior is analogous to the example you just gave children. Yeah. Moralimus says Commanders fans are the worst. You know what, Ron? What the, take your mod status away. The worst next to Cowboys and Eagles fans? Are you serious right now? Terrible. Absolutely terrible. You know what the worst fans are? Absolute worst fans? It's not the Cowboys or the Eagles. They're just more popular. The worst fans are them daggone Patriot fans, man. They're cheaters. The team is a bunch of cheaters, and then the fans defend the cheating. That's disgusting. It's disgusting. They're the worst. JD Gamer says being a fan isn't the problem. Being a butthead is a problem, right? And look, being a fan of something is never the problem. It's just that not all fans are created equal. There's some great fans out there that just, enjoy whatever the fandom is, whether you are a fan of basketball, baseball, football, and you just, want to see your team win, and you support your team, you buy your season tickets, you go to the game, you're not antagonizing the fans of the visiting team and whatnot. You got your people like that. And then you got your people that's like pouring beer on a little kid's head and trying to fight his dad. Actual walking feces in the shape of human beings wearing human clothing. Like those people are no different in sports than they are in the video game, the video game community. People take their fandom too far. Yobi says we need more solo vids, SloMo. Hey, I can work on that, Yobi. I can do that. JD says it's unfortunate that most people remember the bad actors, but not the general fun allowed by just being the fan of something. It's true. It's true. You know, and it kind of goes to the why, like, say, if you watch local news, which is kind of unpopular now, like only old people do it, only your grandparents still do that, but like, or your parents, depending on how old you are. But if you go turn on regular TV, your local news station, and watch the news later today, and like 95% of it is just negative stuff, right? It's just negative. And someone just, who said that? Who just, did someone remember? How do you like Rebirth? I love it. It's going to be in the game of the year conversation. I'm so glad you said that. I should have been playing this from the very start. Where is it? Hold on. Where's my gameplay for Rebirth? Wait, hold on. I had gameplay. That's an hour. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Please be it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm playing this again sometime today once I get the chance. I love how they fixed Cloud's arms too, because his arms used to look like Play-Doh that was molded into an arm by like a 6-year-old, and now it was like an actual slightly muscular stringy arm, you know. But yeah, the demo is amazing. I love it. I'm gonna play more of it later today once I get the time. Yobi says, I gotta go. I literally have to go. I gotta pick these kids up. Yobi says, get the AMD Radeon RX 7900 XT, nice, with a 7950 X3D, with my old B450 Tomahawk. I'm gonna upgrade that to the Gigabyte 670E. Okay, Yobi. I like that. I like that they are all AMD build. That's gonna work. You know, don't turn on ray tracing, but you're gonna be killing it on the frames, man. I said the solo vids because I love the discussions. I feel you definitely have more to say. Okay, yeah. If you want more uploaded opinion pieces, I can work on that. I'm planning on doing that about this whole Xbox thing next week. I didn't want to like do that now when I wanted to get Xbox's side of things before I do a video, either spiking their choices or whatever, right? You always speak with a balanced mindset, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Yobi. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you too, man. You're a good dude. You're a good dude. What's up, Ice Queen? How's it going? Okay, I gotta get out of here. I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your hump day. It is one day, your hump day. Play some games. And yeah, that's it. I'm out. Peace.